Hello, my name's Tom Cahill. It's Thursday, the 14th of August 2014. That's a square date, isn't it? What I just want to speak about is this saying I heard once when I was working at Transport for London. A guy called Mick Johnson said, "You're only 7 handshakes away from the Prime Minister of the President of the United States." Now, I've heard the same expression before, but it never quite registered. I knew it sounded familiar, and I've heard it since applied to the Pope. Now, with the Pope, I'd only be 1 handshake away. Well, not this one, because he's only just got in. And the President of the United States, I'd also only be 1 handshake away to several different ones. But the thing is that this is all about, I would say, if you look into deeper meaning, the macrocosm meeting the microcosm. But even though I would be closer than possibly a lot of people for several different routes that I'm aware of, because there'll be other routes that I don't know about, and I understand that a lot of the people who live in like African villages or in the Amazon aren't. They're going to be quite a few, maybe possibly more handshakes away. The truth is, a lot of them won't be, because, for instance, there'll be a missionary go out there. Most of the missionaries work for the Peace Corps. The Peace Corps is a CIA front, so the chances are they might be like 2 handshakes away. So you see, even people who live in places where they still eat people, they're still going to actually not be that far away. And the other thing I'd like to add is that in my life, anything that I've ever done that's had significance on a kind of macro scale or actually been linked to a major event, it's never actually had anything to do with these handshakes, or at least so far as I'm aware, it's had nothing to do with them. It's all about perception. You know, the macrocosm is the microcosm. I'd also like to quickly recommend the Flashman books. The Flashman books are very, very good. They're written by George MacDonald Fraser, and he quite cleverly links them into another series of books called Tom Brown's School Days, which I believe are based loosely around fact and real people, but I'm not really sure. But Flashman definitely is all just made up, as far as I know. But yeah, anyway, that's a very good book to read if you want to understand about how the macrocosm leads to the microcosm. And there's another book that's good, it's called Shantaran. Now, if you look at the subplot in Shantaran, a lot of thickos, you know, in England, for instance, they believe in skim reading. It's like a religious belief they have. It doesn't exist. Right? You can scan for certain information. You cannot skim read a book. If you can read a book in 3 days that's like 900 pages, you haven't read it properly. And so they come back and they tell you all about the book, but they actually miss the entire point of the book, and they even forget about whole parts of it. The point of that book is that some people are such deep thinkers that they can actually put people in place to do things way before they're actually meant to be thinking that they might be involved. So, for instance, in that book, there's this guy, I forget his name, and he's putting the main character into position to be used for a task years and years before, when he's constructing all these events to build trust and also like completely sort of unquestioning allegiance. Very interesting book, Shantaran. I forget the author's name. Not actually as good as Flashman. Flashman's actually better, but that Shantaran's a very deep book. You know, on that kind of level, it's probably, you know, more profound. But I'd definitely recommend both of those. Well, Flashman's a series of books. Tom Brown's School Days are also a series of books, and also there's one about him at Oxford, but I've not read that. But Flashman, Tom Brown, and Shantaran, they're actually, even though a lot of them are basically comedy books, they're actually very, very realistic history, and you'll learn a lot from learning, especially if you've got like a Anglo-Saxon stroke Celtic past. You'll find quite a lot about, you know, the history of the white people from the British Isles and what they were doing, all their little conquests, and, you know, how they were doing this and that and all the other things that they were getting used to do over the last say 200 years. Okay, anyway, my name's Tom Cahill. It's Thursday the 14th of August 2014. I'd like to know what you think. Thanks very much. Bye bye.